welcome back to another episode of Trailer Trash Talk Hurricane League Fantasy Talk. This is a long overdue episode, and we are now at the end pretty much of week 6, so most of what I have prepared here is no longer relevant. So we're going to do, I guess, a week 6 review, even though the final game is still wrapping up.
I don't think it's going to have that much impact at this point.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I haven't looked at the scores. Let's see. So, let's go ahead and look at what this week I had the matchups. No, you know what? Actually, first, let's go ahead and look at, because there was some controversy with some questionable rankings that came out earlier this week. So, a meeting of the board was convened, and the highly illustrious, decorated, respectable board members got together, talked, really sifted through the numbers, and they came up with this edition of Stank's Ranks.
He's really proud of this, guys. Just let him run with it.
Well, this was a bit from last year, or this isn't the first time this bit has appeared. So, the one that Mitchell did get correct, sadly, number 8, the gentle ginger, Dusty. I thought him being on strike for the first month of the season would help. He started out 1-1 and then has lost, I think, every game since then. It's not looking good for him. He has a better team than some of the teams in this league for sure, because I was looking at the rosters last night and wow on a couple of these. Like the one coming up, the aptly named The Terrible Team, coached by Blake at number 7. Mitchell may have had Blake at 7 too. I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Blake, bro, your roster looks pretty shitty. Just from memory, because I don't have any of this pulled up. I guess that would have been better for the thing if this was pulled up. But
well, you wouldn't know it from looking at his points this week. Good job, Blake.
Did he win?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Blake.
But he's playing Mitchell, so I don't think we can give full credit for that.
We'll get to that. Yeah, Blake, putting up a respectable 139 this week. And that's with Olave getting put out with a concussion early in his game, totaling minus a half a point. Yeah, so Blake, especially, let's say Olave misses time. Dude's rolling out, you can't roll out Jalen Waddle because of the whole Tua thing. So his wide receiver options at that point are Diggs, Mooney, Calvin Ridley, who finished this week with 0.9, Amari Cooper with 8.2, and Khalil Shakir, who's got a total of 1.9 points so far. Dude, other than what he's got, if he were to sustain one more injury, and that injury might have done, he's got shit on his bench.
Amari Cooper is his best option. He's in a pickle. Hey,
Coming in at number 6 in week 6 of Stank's Ranks, Justin. Justin, you've had a rough start to your year, dog.
Dude, it's been bad. It's been really bad. My team has had some issues. One of their biggest issues being they have an idiot for a coach. Every time I've tried to be smart, I have royally screwed myself. And I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm also going to remember to practice what I preach and stop looking at the fucking ESPN rankings. Because these guys don't know what they're talking about. They don't.
have some good players, but you don't seem to get good games out of all of them at once. Thus, coming in at number 6 with a record of 1-4 coming into week 6. I did predict at the beginning of the year that you wouldn't go 6-0, 7-0, whatever it was again. I did not expect 1-4. But I do want to ask, how does it feel a month and a half into the season to be getting ready to secure your second victory?
I mean, it feels really nice, honestly. You know, it's overdue, and as you say, 1-4 is not a good record if I played in a good league with competent people. But looking around myself and the company I am in and some of the other records of my fellow team holders, it doesn't feel that bad, honestly.
I did in my notes for this game with you and Dusty this week have this pegged as a must-win for both of you. Said y'all are both struggling teams, and I thought it was going to be let's see, you were projected to win, called it a must-win, said y'all both looked like you had good matchups. I didn't make a projection on this one, because I thought this one was too close to call. But yeah, congratulations. We'll see if that second victory does anything in next week's Stanks Ranks. Coming in at number 5, my opponent this week, Morgan. You know what? Honestly, Morgan, I'm surprised that you're above these other 3. But you know what? You've managed a 2-3 record. You're like 3rd from last in points scored. I see you're holding on to Nick Chubb on your bench. Dude's coming off a complete leg reconstruction. I don't know if he's going to be of any use to you while you still have any hope of avoiding the shit bowl. And yeah, I mean, pretty questionable roster construction overall, I feel like, here. Terry McLaurin was a good pick. I'll give you that. I had him, I think, last year, and he fucked me royally. But he's a pretty good pickup so far this year. But yeah, Morgan at number 5. Your ranking, I feel like, is somewhat misleading because all of these bottom 3 teams are either 1 or 2 victories. So you're all really in the thick of the race for the royal fuckery at the end of the year. So now on to the positive side. At number 4, we have Mitchell. Now, this is one, he said there was a lot of debating before he put himself at 1. The board had no real issues debating this one. The only, I think, real case he had to be number 1 was for points. And someone brought up the other night that had my team not had 2 injuries in game in week 5. No, I'm sorry, 3 injuries. 2 of them in the first quarter. I may have picked up the 14 points that Mitchell outscored me, and thus he would not be first in points, which is his only real claim to that number 1 spot. I think that was a fair point, you know. I couldn't argue it, at least. His team started terribly. He's climbed back to above 500 on the back of Derrick Henry. So, I mean, this week he doesn't have Justin Jefferson. I think he suffered an injury in game, and he didn't have terrific games from all of his players, and he loses. So he does have a way to win, but it's very specific. And I do also question if a running back on the wrong side of 30 who is on pace to have the second most carries of his career is going to make it through the season, you know, averaging 30 points a game, because I would put my money on no in that scenario. Either way, pretty impressive to go from 0-2 to 3-2. So, you know, kudos to that. But yeah, making the case for you being any higher than 4 is borderline insanity. Number 3, and I will say the 2 and 3, there was some controversy or some arguments, or some heated debates But at number 3, we have Jordan. Now, this is a 4-1 team coming into week 6. It's a very misleading 4-1 team. There was an argument to have him even lower than position 3. My stance, and I think I swayed some people's minds on this. Last year, you were 7-0, whatever you were, and there were several of those games you should have lost, or had you played any type of legitimate opponent that week, you would have lost. But by hook or crook, you won. You, by hook or crook, won your way all the way to a championship, allegedly. So there is something to that. I mean, Jordan is winning. So, you know, despite not scoring many fucking points or playing quality opponents, he's 4-1. That's better than most of you fucks, so he's at number 3.
Jordan, not hating. Proud of you, buddy. I do think the bottom is going to drop out from under you before too long. Just my prediction. We'll see what happens.
He's also basing that on history when he had an epic, 6-game lose streak to follow his amazing start.
There is a precedent, yeah.
Coming in at number 2, Bryan. Bryan had a really strong start to the year. Had a pretty rare for him 2 games in a row that he lost. Lost his lead in points. Still maintains his division lead because he's in an absolutely shit division. No offense.
Not taken.
So he's got a good. He's also suffering from a couple of injuries, but he has as good a team as anybody, I think. Sadly. So yeah, Bryan at number 2, and of course at number 1. Look, even if I didn't have the best record with being second in points scored, I've had the worst luck with injuries, possibly in the history of this league, to be 5 weeks into the season. My number 1 pick has not played a fucking snap yet this year. And then I have, at the time he went down, the number 1 receiver in the league, and Malik Neighbors, that gets fucking concussed. What's this shit? We're playing football. Gets concussed, has missed 2 weeks since then. Then have Nico Collins, who's like the number 2 or 3 scoring receiver, number 1 receiver in yards in the league, goes on fucking IR. Then have Achane, who, to be fair, is getting shittier without Tua there, just like every Dolphins player, but Achane then gets fucking concussed. All of these in game, other than McCaffrey, Achane gets concussed. He's out now. Jordan Mason sprains his AC joint in game this week. Who knows what the fuck's going on with him? I mean, I had to scramble to piece together a lineup these last 2 weeks, and somehow, because you can't, I don't know, you're supposed to take advantage of an enemy whenever he's wounded, you know? That's when you strike. You motherfuckers have just stood there and let me take your fucking legs out. I mean, shame on you, dude. This was your chance. I've coasted after this week to a 5-1 record. I mean, it's virtually, I'm pretty much guaranteed to not be in the shit end of the things at this point. What are we doing? Yeah, so number 1, without much of an argument, there is Stank's ranks for week 6. Any disagreements there? Any thoughts?
No, I want to disagree with Morgan being ranked above me, but you presented valid points about that, so I'll give it to you.
Like I said, I was as surprised as anyone when we really poured through the evidence here. So how are the games looking now?
Say, as it stands, end of the 3rd quarter, I'm beating Dusty. Bryan is beating Jordan. Probably going to stay that way. Blake is beating Mitchell. Again, probably going to stay that way. You are beating the piss out of Morgan. Definitely going to stay that way. And yeah,
so I called. Well, I guess the only one I actually called right was me. So just to read what I wrote for my matchup when I thought we were going to do a preview video this week. Well, I bitched and moaned a little bit about being on a record pace for injuries with my players. And then I talked about Morgan having a couple of decent matchups. I'm going to be piecing together a roster from, the few remaining healthy players I have. So, unfortunately, me by double digits was my prediction. And, hey, nailed that shit right on the head.
Mm-hmm.
I did say Jordan had better matchups up and down the roster, which I still think was true, but his boy got concussed, and I think gave him 0 points. Otherwise, he may have the victory this week. Mitchell and Blake, again, they both have good matchups. Underdog, which was Blake at this point, seems to have the better matchups, aside from potentially the Bengals, and I was wrong on that one, and maybe Godwin. And I wrote, I was surprised he is starting Godwin in his flex due to his blatant homerism, which, as it turns out, I guess game day morning, he took Godwin out of his flex and put someone else in there, and Godwin had like 30-something points on his bench.
Yep.
Another note, he's the only team in the league rostering 3 tight ends, and past year and a half...
Who does this fuck think he is, me?
Past year and a half of history says the one that goes off will be on his bench. Well, as it turned out... 2 of the 3 went off, and they were both on his bench. If you will, I think he had 2 20-point tight ends on his bench, and I don't know what the one he started ended up doing.
Let's see.
Wrong matchup there.
Who are we checking?
Mitchell, his tight end.
Yep, his tight end got him 10.8 points.
And what do the 2 on his bench have?
So, Evan Ingram has 18.2. Oof, that's gotta hurt. Cole Kmet with 24 points.
And he says he was going to start one of those 2 and forgot, but again... with history to look back on,
and
Mitchell has struggled into 2 seasons now with the tight end position.
It's like, how do you forget to just plug in your tight end when you take Godwin out of your flex so that you can leave 35.5 points on your bench?
If you'd spend less time fantasizing about yourself being the number 1 team in the league and more time in reality, you could have made that switch. Yeah, by the way, I have not struggled with the tight end position this year. Kittle, despite what Morgan told me, Kittle has been fucking money this year. But you know what's crazy is the 1 week that Kittle was injured, I picked up a tight end off of waivers, plugged him in, and got either 11 or 12 points out of him. I don't understand why we've got people with 3-4 tight ends. And I'm not just picking on Mitchell here. There's a number of you fucks that are struggling with the tight end position. I've seen a bunch of leagues or a bunch of teams that are, if Bryan wouldn't have ran his mouth, I was going to pick up McBride off of waivers. I don't think Blake would have known to pick up McBride. No offense, Blake. I don't think Blake would have even been aware. And, yeah, Bryan sometimes needs... Oh, by the way, trade's not fucking going through. Absolutely not. I'm going to fucking stir up the votes. No way. No way. I don't even remember what the trade was, but I know it was involving Bryan. And, again, he and Mitchell are the reasons we don't have trades anymore. I hate Walmart.
I hear we're getting an Aldi's.
Have you been to Aldi's before?
No.
So, I don't dislike them, but it's hit or miss as far as what you're gonna find in there any given trip. Yeah. And yeah, they don't have the best variety. Like, they've got a lot of house brand shit. Their house brand shit is actually pretty good, though. Like, everything I've gotten has been rival, like, the name brand.
Okay.
And, I mean, they are pretty decently priced. Like, there's quite a few things that I've seen are cheaper than, like, Walmart. Although you can't get, I think you have to pay for bags, so you have to bring your own plastic bags. You have to deposit a quarter to get the fucking buggy. Yeah, it's, I mean, there's some quirky things about it for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I started putting laundry baskets in the back of the van when we go grocery shopping. I'm telling you, it's a dumb life hack, but you'd be amazed how much easier it is to, like, carry groceries in the basket than just in the bags.
Wait, you bring fucking laundry baskets into the store with you?
No, dipshit. I put them in the back of the van.
Okay, what? No, don't call me dipshit. I could easily see you walking into fucking Walmart with a fucking laundry basket. Like, I'm here to get my fucking groceries. I could absolutely see that.
No, you put them in the back of the van.
Motherfucker's walking into Walmart in his pajama pants with a fucking laundry basket.
I mean, pajama pants, yeah, it's fucking Walmart. I'm not trying to impress anyone in there. Yeah. If they were someone important, they wouldn't be in Walmart.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's one of the reasons I'm glad I don't work in the same area where I, like, stay and shop, and
yeah.
Glad to keep those two things very separate. And since work is all I do, I don't have to worry about running into anybody I know. Where, you know, like, yeah, because it's like, especially like up here at the supermarket, I fucking hate seeing somebody I know, because I'm like, shit, like, are they gonna want to talk to me? And like, I'll kind of like keep my eyes on them while I'm going the other way, trying to make sure they don't look that way. If they do, I try and fucking time it up where the back of my head meets them, you know. And they're like, oh, that I probably don't know that long-haired bearded guy. Like, yeah.
See, I have so many people, or there are so many people who want to say, I'm in the office, I'm trying to do my work. Justin, come, someone wants to talk to you. You would think I'm friends with 3/4 of Hammond and all of Southeastern. Yeah. There's like 4 of these people that I'm actually happy to see when I come around that corner.
Dude, I understand that too. I mean, at work, right, the amount of people I get called over the radio like, oh, somebody's here to see you. I'm like, who the fuck is here to see me? And I go up there, and there's always like this old dopey customer. It's like, hey, I'm like, fuck. Like, I don't want to deal with this old bag of fucking bones right now. Like, I'm trying to work. And it's always some old person that can't understand how to flip a fucking switch on their, you know. I really, you know, not to sound... I wish there was a way we could ban old people from owning technology. Like, you should have to pass certain tests or have certain, like, have to have a certification that I'm able to plug in, turn on, and log into a device before you can own it past a certain age, you know?
I mean, I'm cool with it. I feel like after a certain age, you should start having to take your driving test more often.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest issue with those fuckers is they drive fucking 10, 20 under the speed limit and hold up.
And they're old! You're dying. You would like when I get old.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
more
speed
urgency.
everywhere. I don't speed now, but when I get old and my time is more valuable, I'm gonna start speeding. So yeah, I don't get it. I was like doing 40, just going out like you're gonna drop dead halfway to Dollar General.
I would think also a clear indicator, and I don't know, maybe you could clue me in on this. When you see a quarter mile of traffic behind you because you're going 10 under the speed limit, does it motivate you to go any faster, or?
Either faster or, hell, I have legitimately like pulled over and let folks get on by because I know I'm not going any faster with whatever I have in the bed of my truck or... And I'm just going to hang out on the shoulder for a minute, watch these 3, 7, however many vehicles go by, and then pull back out and keep on creeping.
So, it looks like Mitchell had the right idea by playing a backup Buffalo running back tonight to replace James Cook. He played the wrong one, though. The one he did not play has 16 carries for 90 yards and 3 receptions for 50 yards at this point. I think his guy has like 1.5 points or something the last I looked.
Yep. 6 minutes and counting in the fourth. Good game, Dusty.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get you there at one point. See what did it for him. Well, Dusty had really weak running backs this week. Looks like that's the case every week, though, actually, looking at his
I was going to
lineup.
say, it's nothing new.
I mean, he does have Aaron Jones on a bye week and injured. Aaron Jones is not bad. Etienne was supposed to be really good, but he finished this week with minus 0.1 points in the beatdown they got against Chicago. Now, I mean, he made the right decisions. He started... Hurts over Kyler. I don't blame him for not starting Keenan Allen because he's been, subpar this year. That was potentially what would have won him the game, though, but yeah, you can't blame him for not doing that one. And again, you getting 30 from Love, 46 from your running backs, Devo showing up in a big way. I mean, you had a good week. Despite getting a combined 11 points from your wide receiver to flex and tight end positions. Oh, and also, wanted to talk to you, you fucking piece of shit. Picked up my kicker literally an hour and a half before I was going to pick him up. The kicker to all of it, I had an empty roster spot and didn't realize it at the time. I was waiting to figure out who I was going to drop because I had my eyeballs on this Austin Seibert guy. Yeah, so fuck you, alright?
Nice to know that I actually made a
well, I mean, let's not get too excited.
There.
It's a fucking kicker, but yeah, I think that
it's
was a
good
kicker
that got me more points than my fucking defense, flex, tight end, wide receiver.
That's all true, yeah. Well,
actually, when I read it off like that, Jesus Christ, Dusty, how did you lose to me? The fuck, man.
Of course, Blake getting a badly needed win pulls him to 3-3. Also drops Mitchell to 3-3. I guess there will be no more illusions of the number one spot for him this week. Yeah, Jordan really... I was going to question him starting... Oh, no, it was a question, yeah. I was going to send him a text and ask him why he decided to start the Jets tight end instead of Kincaid from the Bills, and... Turns out Kincaid from the Bills would have been a better choice, but it doesn't matter because his defense got him a whopping 1 point and possibly less. Oh, but damn, Jordan got 17 points from his fucking kicker.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Curious why he didn't start Joe Mixon, however.
I was also pondering that as I was looking at it.
I guess he's coming back from injury. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see why he didn't. He has running backs, and his 1-2 spot and in his flex. He actually had a solid game from like every one of his running backs this week. Probably should have started Tank Dell over Wandale Robinson, but you know. Yeah, I like how. No, I'm not. Never mind. Edit all that out. Yeah, I was about to go into Morgan again for continuously defending himself for dropping Jaden Daniels. Maybe he has people scoring more than Jaden Daniels, but my quarterback situation was dire, so I've really appreciated it.
I do have to. Really? I know it's come up in the comments section before, but I'm like, why the fuck does Morgan have fucking Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold's been a decent quarterback this year. The question is, why does he have 3 quarterbacks on his roster?
I was gonna say, he's got Fields and Mahomes.
The explanation he gave today is he can't drop Mahomes. Fields or Darnold was on a bye this week. The problem is we have an 8-man league, and I think there's probably 12 decent fantasy quarterbacks. So
yeah, Mahomes is, you can't drop Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't even have like. There are literally quarterbacks on the waiver wire with better seasons than Mahomes right now.
I don't remember where he. I mean, probably spent a high draft pick on Mahomes if I had to guess, because you know quarterbacks go early in this league. I don't know if I
drafted him 36.
No, that's not accurate
because you just plug it.
Yeah.
And I didn't take a picture of the board.
No, I still have the board in there. So if we really wanted to, we could figure it out.
Doesn't matter. We're not even. It's like we're not a keeper league.
Yeah, no. Well, we could be. I mean, there's a vote on that coming up in this.
Yeah, we're not gonna be. We're not.
We could be. You don't know that.
I would you like to bet money on it? Well, then, my psychic prediction is that that vote will not pass, and we will not be a keeper league. If that was going to be a thing, it would have happened, you know.
That kind of makes me want to drum up the votes.
I wish you better luck with it than I have had over the years.
Well, the problem is sometimes it's more than you got to really lay the foundation, you know. You've got to plant some seeds in the off season, you know. Hey, there you go, Jordan. Your guy got his second catch of the game, I think. Well, you know what, Jordan? 4-2 is still pretty damn good, especially for your actual point metrics. That's pretty damn good. Well, I guess that'll be all for this episode. Should be back with you. I'm hoping to get another one filmed in the next few days so we don't fall drastically behind schedule again. Get the Week 7 preview, the under duress list.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
Thanks for watching and hanging out with us. If you didn't like it, go fuck yourself and make your own video.
That's right. See, that's the attitude we cultivate here, and I think that's why people love us. You know, we keep it real. We keeps it real. All right. Thank you all. Suck my dick.